Remember when American car design was all about tailfins, chrome, and dreams of a space-age future? Or maybe you picture the 1950s as a golden age where every driveway held a gleaming symbol of post-war optimism? Today we take a look at 10 of the stupidest, strangest, and most baffling cars of the 1950s you've probably never seen before. 1. 1953 Kaiser Dragon. Coming in at number 1 is the 1953 Kaiser Dragon, a car that looked like it had driven straight out of a designer's fever dream. Launched in the early 1950s as Kaiser's ultimate statement of luxury. It boasted an exterior unlike anything else on the road. A padded vinyl roof patterned to resemble bamboo and flashy gold-colored trim that caught the eye from a block away. Inside, it was even more outrageous. With dragon skin, vinyl upholstery that made you feel like you were sitting in a tropical tiki lounge on wheels. But all that style came with painfully little substance. Under the hood, the Dragon carried a sluggish 226 cubic inch inline-six producing just 118 horsepower. The heavy automatic transmission sapped even more performance, making acceleration a slow, wheezy affair. Worse, that fancy vinyl roof had a nasty habit of soaking up rainwater, leaving the car smelling like a swamp after a storm. Today, the Kaiser Dragon is remembered as one of the boldest missteps of the 1950s, proof that luxury isn't just about looking expensive. It's a quirky relic of an era when automakers sometimes valued showmanship far more than engineering sense. 2. 1958 Edsel Corsair. Coming in at number 2 is the 1958 Edsel Corsair, a car that has gone down in history as one of Ford's most infamous flops. Introduced as part of the brand new Edsel line, the Corsair was supposed to represent upscale American motoring. Instead, it became a national punchline. Its most polarizing feature? That vertical, horse-collar, grille. Mocked by critics and consumers alike as awkward, unattractive, and downright bizarre. The problems didn't stop with styling. The Corsair came with Ford's ambitious Teletouch transmission, which placed push-button gear controls in the center of the steering wheel. In theory, it was futuristic. In practice, it was a nightmare. Buttons jammed, misfired, and in some cases drivers accidentally shifted gears when trying to honk the horn. Add in sloppy build quality, misaligned panels, uneven paint, missing trim pieces right from the factory, and you had a recipe for disaster. Launched during a nationwide recession, the overpriced Corsair never stood a chance. Sales tanked, and the Edsel brand collapsed just 2 years later. Today, the Corsair stands as a cautionary tale that even the biggest carmakers can get it spectacularly wrong when design, timing, and execution all miss the mark. 3. 1957 Ford Skyliner Retractable. Coming in at number 3 is the 1957 Ford Skyliner Retractable, a car that looked like pure magic in its day. This was America's first mass-produced retractable hardtop convertible, with a roof that folded away into the trunk at the push of a button. It was a jaw-dropping party trick for the 1950s, turning heads at every stoplight and cementing Ford's image as an innovator. But the magic came at a cost, literally and mechanically. The complex roof mechanism used more than 600 individual parts, which meant more things to go wrong. Owners quickly learned that motors jammed, switches failed, and misaligned panels could leave the roof stuck halfway. At nearly 2 tons, the Skyliner was also heavier than most rivals, hurting acceleration, handling, and fuel economy. Priced higher than traditional convertibles, the Skyliner struggled to attract buyers who didn't want to pay more for extra headaches. Only about 20,000 units were built that year, far fewer than Ford had hoped. Today, it's remembered as a stunning example of 1950s ambition and proof that sometimes the coolest ideas can turn into the trickiest problems. 4. 1950 Davis Divan. Coming in at number 4 is the 1950 Davis Divan, a 3-wheeled curiosity that promised to revolutionize motoring but ended up as one of the strangest failures of the decade. Built by the Davis Motor Car Company, the Divan featured a single front wheel for steering and 2 rear wheels, giving it a sleek, aircraft-inspired profile. On paper, this layout was meant to improve efficiency. In reality, it made the car dangerously unstable. Taking a corner at speed could cause the entire vehicle to tilt or even lift a wheel off the ground. Inside, The divan seated 4 people across a single wide bench. But practicality stopped there. The driver sat slightly off-center. The dashboard was almost non-existent, and creature comforts were few. Even the windshield wipers required manual operation. Under the hood, a modest 4-cylinder engine delivered just 40 horsepower, leaving the divan slow and jittery on open roads. The real downfall came from its creator, Gary Davis, who overpromised and under-delivered. He collected deposits for hundreds of cars but produced only 13 before being convicted of grand theft and fraud. Today, the Davis divan survives as a bizarre relic, a reminder that bold ideas need more than showmanship to succeed. 5. 1955 Dodge La Femme. Coming in at number 5 is the 1955 Dodge La Femme, Detroit's most heavy-handed attempt to design for women. Based on the custom Royal Lancer, it wore sapphire white and heather rose paint with matching interior fabrics, plus a floral patterned tapestry that looked more boutique than boulevard. The sales pitch wasn't performance or practicality, but a matching accessory set, a color-coordinated handbag containing a compact lipstick case, cigarette lighter, coin purse, comb, even a rain cape and hat. The problem? It sold a stereotype, not a solution. Under the glamour sat the same hardware as ordinary Dodges, so there was no meaningful advantage behind the wheel. Buyers saw the package for what it was, a marketing gimmick draped in pink. With limited demand and a rapidly changing market, La Femme lasted only 2 model years. Today it's remembered as a glossy misread of what women actually wanted from a car: real capability, comfort, and value, not a glove box full of cosmetics. 6. 1959 Buick LeSabre. Number 6 is the 1959 Buick LeSabre, a rolling sculpture of the space age. All sweeping fins and oceans of chrome. It looked fast standing still, but the driving reality was far less glamorous. Buick's smooth but slushy Dynaflow transmission soaked up much of the engine's punch, turning throttle inputs into a long, syrupy swell instead of a surge. Add nearly 200 pounds of decorative trim, and you had style literally weighing down substance. On the road, the LeSabre felt like piloting a small ship: light, imprecise steering, a floaty ride, and plenty of body motion that discouraged spirited driving. Inside, plush bench seats favored living room comfort over support. Fine for a cruise but tiring when the road got twisty. As a symbol of late 50s excess, it nailed the look, but it also proved how easily performance and drivability can be sacrificed on the altar of flash. 7. 1953 Willys Aero. Coming in at number 7 is the 1953 Willys Aero, a compact American car that tried to blend style with practicality but never found its footing. Produced by Willys Overland, better known for its rugged Jeeps, the Aero was intended to capture the growing market for smaller, more efficient vehicles. Its rounded roofline, soft curves, and sloping sides set it apart from the boxier sedans of the time, giving it a subtle, almost European flair. Inside, the Aero seated 5, but the cabin was basic compared to the flashier, full-size cars Americans loved in the 1950s. The real problem lay under the hood. Its inline 6-cylinder engine produced just 91 horsepower, leaving it sluggish next to the V8-powered competition. In an era when bigger and faster sold best, the Aero's modest performance made it an underdog. By 1955, poor sales and tough competition forced Willys to end production. Today, the 1953 Willys Aero is remembered not for its success, but as a symbol of how hard it was for small cars to win over 1950s America, unless they had the speed, power, and flash the market craved. 8. 1954 Hudson Jet. Coming in at number 8 is the 1954 Hudson Jet, a compact car that aimed to bring Hudson into the small car market but ended up sinking fast. Designed to compete with the Nash Rambler and other emerging compacts, the Jet featured a 104 horsepower inline-6 and offered either a manual or hydromatic automatic transmission. On paper, it was practical, roomy enough for 6 passengers and built with Hudson's solid engineering reputation. But the Jet's styling was a letdown. Its plain, boxy shape lacked the flair buyers expected in the mid-50s, earning it the unflattering nickname, the beige box. Worse, Hudson spent heavily to develop it, making the Jet expensive to build and sell. In the showroom, it was caught between cheaper rivals and more stylish full-size cars. Adding to its woes, Hudson was in the middle of a merger with Nash Kelvinator to form American Motors Corporation. The Jet's short life was over by 1954, and it never got the chance to evolve. Today, it's remembered as a rare sight from an automaker that bet big on small, and lost. 9. 1950 Nash Airflyte. Coming in at number 9 is the 1950 Nash Airflyte, a car that looked like nothing else on the road. For better or worse, with its fully enclosed fender design, sweeping curves, and almost teardrop profile, the Airflyte was a bold attempt at aerodynamic efficiency in an era obsessed with chrome and tailfins. Under the hood, it carried a 3.8-liter inline-6 producing around 112 horsepower, paired with either a 3-speed manual or hydromatic automatic. Inside, Nash offered a feature that was pure 1950s novelty: front seats that could fold flat into a bed. Perfect for roadside naps on long trips. It was comfortable, roomy, and ahead of its time in some ways. But its heavy body and unusual proportions hurt handling and performance. Many drivers found it sluggish and awkward compared to more conventional rivals. While some praised its innovation, others simply didn't like the look. Sales lagged, and the Airflyte became one of those cars people remembered for its quirks rather than its success. Today, it stands as a reminder that daring design can win admiration, but not always buyers. 10. 1950 Nash Rambler. Closing out our list is the 1950 Nash Rambler, a compact car introduced when America was still in love with big, chrome-laden sedans. Nash marketed the Rambler as stylish yet economical, featuring a sleek, bathtub body with smooth curves and a distinctive wraparound windshield. Its small size made it easy to maneuver, and the inline-6 engine delivered a modest 82 horsepower, fine for city cruising but far from thrilling on open highways. Inside, the Rambler was comfortable for 4, but cargo space was limited, and the lightweight body made it feel nervous at higher speeds. Drivers often complained about its struggles on steep hills or when carrying a full load. Mechanical gremlins didn't help. Issues with the transmission, suspension, and electrical systems hurt its reputation for reliability. Though it found some fans for its fuel efficiency, the Rambler couldn't compete with the power and presence of full-size rivals. Production continued for a few years, but this first-generation model faded into history. Today, it's remembered as an ambitious early compact that proved Americans weren't quite ready to downsize in the horsepower-hungry 1950s. So, which of these bizarre and baffling 1950s cars do you think was the absolute worst? Was it the over-the-top Kaiser Dragon, the awkward Edsel Corsair, or maybe the gadget-filled Ford Skyliner that couldn't keep its roof working? Drop a comment below and share your pick, and any memories you have of seeing these oddballs on the road. If you enjoyed this nostalgic ride through one of the most colorful decades in American automotive history, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we explore more fascinating relics from the past.